Okay, here we're going over the code changes, PR code changes. So this up here, I noticed this was an Apple MDM, but this actually runs on Windows, so confusing. So I created a new file. All this is related. This largely moved. That's all I mentioned right now about that. I changed the signature to this method, so instead of host ID, it takes host, because we are also saving the hardware serial in the archive table, for additional help debug if needed, in case the host has been deleted and we can't use the ID. Okay, so that code I mentioned was deleted, went into this new file. And while I was putting that code into this file, I thought, well, it makes sense for other disk encryption code to be in this file. So I moved some other code. So the actual changes are in this method and related helper methods that are being called, these two up here, which are down here, and then this method, which is similar but for Linux. It also calls the same helper methods here. Everything else is just moved to this file. Then I added this file. Originally, I was going to make the change to the cleanup method and do the archiving here, and I actually had that implemented. But then, and I created this, started writing tests at that point. So instead of throwing them away, I left it here. The new change is to archive, add, creation, or update, because that would just reduce the number of places where we archive. All right, moving on. This is just moving a code that accesses this table to the other file. Test update, just signature change. Additional checks for the archive table here, and additional checks for the archive table here. And let's see what else. Okay, timestamps. I'll mention that later. Okay, so this is the new table. I'm keeping encrypted salt, key slot, and created at. I'm trying to match created at with the created at in the disk encryption keys, in case they're both created at the same time. So I add additional precision here, so I had to update the precision here for them to match exactly. And there's also some checks regarding the timestamp here, where we compare created at here, or maybe it's updated at one of these timestamps with this timestamp. So in order to be consistent, I also updated the timestamps in this host disks table. And not only to be consistent, but there was a test failing, so I functionally needed to do that. Okay, this is the migration. So we basically we do an insert into select, so we copy all these values into the new table. And then we go through the table again and update the hardware serials that we get from the host table. And if it's empty or if it's missing, it's just going to stay blank in the archive table. And some tests. I do 2 real hosts and 1 missing hosts. That is going to have a blank serial number, which I check down here. Let's see if there's anything else. Everything else is just signature changes. That's it.